Hamzat Chimaev's dominant UFC 319 win has shaken the middleweight division and sparked chaos in the fight world. With the belt now on his shoulder, whispers of a $30 million super fight, fresh contenders like Reinier de Ridder stepping up, and legends weighing in on his performance, Borz finds himself at the center of MMA's biggest story. Is he unbeatable, or is the next challenger already waiting in the shadows? What if I told you Hamzat Chimaev just got offered $30 million for a single fight? Not only that, rumors say he's already picked his next opponent, and it's a name that could shake the UFC to its core. Coming off his dominant win at UFC 319, Chimaev now has the middleweight belt on his shoulder, and the entire division scrambling to figure out how to deal with him. But here's the twist. While bookies have him as a massive favorite against every contender in sight, there are whispers, challenges, and even wild royal offers that could completely change his path. After UFC 319, one thing became clear: Hamzat Chimaev has no equal, at least not yet. The odds makers wasted no time putting him as a huge favorite against every name in the top 10. Whether it's Nassourdine Imavov, Caio Borralho, or even Michael Venom Page, the betting lines make Chimaev look untouchable. But that didn't stop one fighter from stepping up immediately. That fighter is Reinier de Ridder, also known as the Dutch Knight. If you've been following MMA outside the UFC, you know this name carries weight. De Ridder was a two-division champion and one championship, known for his suffocating grappling and relentless pace. Since moving to the UFC, he hasn't slowed down. Sitting at number 5 in the rankings, he's undefeated, and he's already picked up huge wins against names like Bo Nickel and former champ Robert Whittaker. In other words, he's not just a new face, he's a serious problem. The moment Chimaev got his hands on the middleweight belt, de Ridder made his move. He sent out a message congratulating the new champ, but with a sharp twist. Let's see what real grappling dominance looks like. Respectful on the surface, but very clearly a challenge. And Hamzat? He fired back in his signature style. "I'll make you look like a white belt, Habibi." Just like that, the tension was set. Grappler versus grappler. Two men who built their careers on suffocating opponents, now staring each other down. Even more interesting, the timing works perfectly. UFC 3021 is scheduled for October in Abu Dhabi, a place where Chimaev has become a massive star. De Ridder has already said he's more than willing to step into enemy territory, while Hamzat himself hinted that October 25th might be the exact date of his return. So while the rankings say Chimaev has no close rivals, the reality is that Reinier de Ridder has already raised his hand, and the storyline writes itself. A new grappling king looking to dethrone the man everyone calls unbeatable. The UFC isn't wasting time building the road to Chimaev's first defense. In just a few weeks, two massive middleweight fights could decide his future opponent. On October 18th in Vancouver, Reinier de Ridder faces Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. De Ridder has already called out Hamzat, but Hernandez is no stepping stone. Ranked 6th, he's on an 8-fight win streak, finishing most of his opponents, and just earned a performance of the night 2 weeks ago. If he beats de Ridder, Hernandez could leapfrog straight into title contention. Meanwhile, in Paris, Nassourdine Imavov Des Natu takes on Caio Borralho, Al7. Imavov has long been seen as a title threat, while Borralho is the dangerous rising star looking to break through. The timing makes things even crazier. Chimaev has hinted at October 25th in Abu Dhabi for his return, just 1 week after Vancouver. If de Ridder wins, the turnaround is perfect. But if Hernandez or Imavov shines, the UFC may have a real dilemma on its hands. So while Hamzat sits on the throne, the division is wide open, and his challengers are already battling for a chance to take him down. Just when you thought things couldn't get bigger for Hamzat Chimaev, a wild rumor started spreading across the Russian-speaking internet. Word is a group of Arab sheiks has stepped in with an offer that sounds almost unreal: $30 million for a single fight. When Hamzat landed in the UAE after winning the middleweight belt, it wasn't a normal visit. Reports describe it more like a royal reception. Red carpets, handshakes, and the kind of honor usually reserved for kings. But beyond the pageantry, the sheiks supposedly had something else in mind. According to insiders, they're not just fans. They want to bankroll a super fight, and they're ready to pay top dollar for it. The big question: against who? Behind the scenes, one name keeps surfacing: Islam Makhachev. The idea of the lightweight king moving up to fight Hamzat might sound impossible, but according to the rumors, the sheiks want it badly enough to throw money at both fighters, $30 million each. Now, is it real? Hard to say. the UFC hasn't confirmed anything, and Makhachev himself has stayed silent. But Hamzat hasn't exactly denied it either. In fact, he's openly admitted, wherever they pay the most, that's where I'll fight. I have to be #1 pound for pound. For a man who's never been shy about chasing glory or money, it's not hard to imagine him saying yes. Even if this fight never materializes, the story alone has sent shockwaves through the MMA world. Fans are already speculating, headlines are buzzing, and the idea of two of the most dominant grapplers in the sport colliding for life-changing money is the kind of drama the UFC thrives on. For now, it's just a rumor, but in MMA, money talks, and when $30 million is on the table, almost anything feels possible. While fans were busy arguing about Hamzat's safe performance against Dricus Duplessis, one legendary voice in MMA spoke up, Javier Mendez, the longtime coach of Islam Makhachev and head of the famed AKA Gym. On his YouTube show, Javier and Mo, he broke down Chimaev's fight in detail, and his verdict was simple: Hamzat did exactly what he needed to do. Mendez admitted that if he were in Chimaev's corner, he would have given the same instructions: take him down, don't risk it. This is your one shot at the biggest prize. Why gamble? To Mendez, Hamzat's relentless wrestling wasn't boring. It was smart. The point of championship fights isn't to entertain the crowd at all costs. It's to win and secure your legacy. He reminded fans that plenty of great champions, from Khabib Nurmagomedov to Georges St-Pierre, built dynasties on game plans that shut opponents down. If Dricus can't stop the takedown, that's not Hamzat's fault. Mendez said, it's his job to dominate, and he did. It was a refreshing perspective. While social media labeled the fight too safe, Mendez flipped the script. Hamzat didn't fight cautiously, he fought intelligently. He stuck to his strengths, neutralized a dangerous striker, and walked away with the belt. And in Mendez's eyes, that's exactly what champions are supposed to do.
If fans were hoping to see Hamzat stand and trade bombs with Dricus Duplessis, they were always going to be disappointed. And now we know why. Arman Tsarukyan, who was in Chimaev's corner that night, has explained exactly what happened. According to Tsarukyan, after 3 rounds were already in the bag, Hamzat himself wanted to test the waters on the feet. He felt confident enough to strike, but his coaches immediately shut that idea down. Their message was crystal clear: don't change a game plan that's working. In an interview with Adam Zubair, Tsarukyan revealed that Hamzat was given strict orders to stick to wrestling and avoid reckless exchanges. No matter how tempting it was to give fans a brawl, the belt was on the line, and the team refused to take unnecessary risks. It paints a different picture of the fight. Hamzat wasn't afraid of striking. He was disciplined enough to listen to his corner and stay focused on the path to victory. Tsarukyan even suggested that Hamzat's urge to strike showed how confident he was, but the coaches knew one mistake could cost everything. So instead of the wild, aggressive Chimaev fans we're used to, we got a smarter, more calculated version. One that followed the game plan to perfection. And whether fans liked it or not, that discipline is exactly why Hamzat walked away with UFC gold. Not everyone was focused on whether Hamzat's win was boring. Former bantamweight champion Dominic Cruz saw something much bigger happening. To him, Chimaev's performance wasn't just about one fight, it was a sign that MMA is entering a new era. Cruz explained that the sport always moves in cycles. Sometimes strikers dominate, like the Adesanya era, when slick kickboxing ruled the cage. Other times, grapplers take over, smothering opponents with wrestling and jiu-jitsu. And right now, Cruz believes we're stepping back into a grappler-driven era. His evidence: Hamzat's complete domination of Duplessis. WP wasn't just taken down, he was trapped. He couldn't escape, couldn't create separation, not even once. Cruz called it shocking. If you give Hamzat the option to hold you down and grind you out like a cigarette butt, he'll take it every time. And unless you can escape, there's nothing you can do. Cruz pointed out other examples too. Kamaru Usman using wrestling to neutralize strikers. Anthony Hernandez blending top pressure jiu-jitsu with relentless takedowns. And now Hamzat proving that elite grappling can still dominate at the highest level. The lesson is clear. In today's UFC, it's not about if you get taken down, it's about when. And if you don't have the tools to get back up, you're finished. For Cruz, Hamzat didn't just win a fight, he might have confirmed the start of a whole new cycle in MMA. When the dust settled after UFC 319, plenty of fans and fighters had opinions on Hamzat's cautious performance. But one voice stood out: Paddy Pimblett.
Never one to hold back, Paddy fired up his YouTube channel and gave his take on the fight. First, he defended Hamzat, saying the backlash was mostly coming from casuals who don't really understand MMA. In his words, hardcore fans and actual fighters know how impressive it was to see Chimaev dominate du Plessis so completely. This wasn't fun casuals, Paddy admitted, but if you actually train MMA, you'll appreciate the levels of skill. Hamzat's grappling is top class. Pimblett even called it one of the most one-sided beatdowns he'd seen in a title fight, pointing out that Hamzat nearly won every second of the match. To him, that wasn't boring. It was brilliant. But Paddy didn't stop there. After defending Hamzat, he turned his attention to Arman Tsarukyan, who had revealed details about Hamzat's corner strategy. Paddy mocked him brutally, saying the only way Tsarukyan will ever get close to a UFC belt is by standing next to Hamzat while he wins one. Closest that Tool will ever come to touching a belt, Paddy joked. In classic Paddy fashion, the clip quickly spread across social media, fueling debates and fan arguments. Love him or hate him, Paddy knows how to keep his name in the mix, and by backing Hamzat while roasting Tsarukyan, he added another layer of drama to an already buzzing story. So where does all of this leave us? Hamzat Chimaev has the middleweight belt on his shoulder, a target on his back, and the entire fight world wondering what's next. From Reinier de Ridder stepping up with confidence, to rumors of a $30 million super fight in Abu Dhabi, the possibilities feel endless. Behind the scenes, insiders like Arman Tedrakadian are giving us a glimpse of the discipline it takes to win gold, while legends like Dominic Cruz are already declaring the return of the grappler era. Add in Paddy Pimblett firing shots, and even streamers like TikTok calling out former champions. It's clear that MMA isn't just about fights inside the cage. It's about the culture, the drama, and the larger-than-life stories that keep us hooked. One thing is undeniable. Hamzat Chimaev has changed the conversation. Love him or hate him, his dominance has forced fans, fighters, and even betting lines to acknowledge that Borz is now the man to beat. But the real question is, who will step up and actually do it? Will it be de Ridder in Abu Dhabi, a big money fight with Islam Makhachev, or someone we haven't even considered yet? Either way, the story is far from over. The fight game is unpredictable, and with Hamzat at the top, the only guarantee is chaos. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, it really helps us out. Drop a comment with who you think should fight Hamzat next, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on so you never miss the latest MMA news, drama, and fight stories. Until next time, fight fans, stay tuned, because the best is yet to come.